So far, we have redesigned the navbar, the hero section, the video section, and today we're going to be working on the features section. Here is the redesign of the navbar. Here is the hero section. And in the previous part, we have looked into designing this video section. So in order to create our new section, I'm just going to give ourselves a bit more space here. Then we're going to be working with the same idea as we have been doing already. That is, we have a center column. You can see it here, a center column where everything will be aligned. So how are we going to edit this? First of all, we need to provide the headline, okay, the header, which is a comment for all sections. So here, let's just copy this, paste and replace, or here, instead, we can just paste it at the end. We can remove this part. So launch faster. We're gonna be changing this text to be launch faster. Let's cut this and let's paste this here. Okay, so we're just following through with the gradient color for the accent. This is what we call visual consistency. If you are doing something on one part of your website, you want to be doing it on all of them. Consistency. Okay, so obviously we have the headline, the sub-headline, which we should probably change here, and the call to action down below. Okay, these tools here. So how are we going to make this better? Okay, very simple, by experimentation and by using visual accents. So first, let's start. Okay, so AI page generation. Let's start from this text. Okay, so I'm gonna make this a bit bigger. I'm gonna consider around 20 pixels. Then I'm gonna give it semi-bold weight. It should be enter, as that's the constant font which we have been using all throughout the website. So AI page generation. Let's make this smaller to align with the space we have. Also, I'm just gonna make this a bit more smaller, around 22. Okay, great. So if we put this, okay, I'm gonna return that. If we put the text here, we also need to incorporate this here description. And this time I'm gonna make it 14 pixels and regular. Okay. Also, just to have better visual contrast and visual hierarchy, I'm gonna reduce its opacity, or I'm gonna make it more gray instead of a dark black. Yeah, so what's next here? We need to incorporate, sorry for that, we need to incorporate this here, which is the logo. Okay, how do we do that? Very simple. We have the logo actually here, which is not the actual brand logo, but a generic sort of logo we just created to fit. Sorry, I mean to work with our style here. Okay, I'm gonna drag the logo down here, and let's try to make this logo more interesting. So what I'll consider doing is I'm gonna duplicate this logo and place it on top of this one, just offsetting it just a bit. Then I'm gonna select both of them and I'm gonna make them bigger, around 32, or okay, we're gonna keep it as 32 for now. and let's group everything into logo group. Then we're going to select the top logo and we're going to give it 1% on the opacity. That will make it barely visible. Now we're going to give it a background blur. Okay, so this will give it a glassmorphic effect. And here is our new logo for the for the section here. So how do we actually make this section, make these cards work? Very simple. So first we need to add one more element, which is like an arrow which indicates like a link that you could follow to go somewhere with this, maybe more description, something like that. So I'm just going to create a very simple arrow, just going to give it some corner radius here, 4, 5. Okay, so give it rounded edges, make it bolder, and we can call this forward icon. Shift A to group it into, this is the call to action or our button here. We're going to give it 0 padding, but it's going to be a circle around 24 by 24, a circle, central line everything here, and finally give it white fill, and the stroke would be a subtle one, which will be D4, which is used throughout the website. Also, we want to make this circle, right? So 999 on the corner radius will give us an arrow indicator. So let's group the related elements. This will be the header or the actual content we have, or we can name it actually content. Let's reduce the size here. Okay. So then we want to group everything here into the main content, and this would be some sort of an accent instead of an actual primary piece of information. So 16 gap here, 32. Okay, great. Then let's group everything here into a feature. So I'm going to make this auto just because I don't know how tall it should be quite yet. I'm going to give it around 24 padding on both the top, the left, the bottom, and the right. Okay, let's make it wider. Also, let's give it a stroke around E4 and an 8 pixel corner radius. Okay, so we're here, but there is too much to do to make this more interesting. Okay, what should we do? I have an idea. Okay, so we can go over to the polygon tool, drag out the polygon, and I'm going to make it around 6 shapes. Then I'm going to give it some corner radius, around 12 pixels. Okay, so around 12 pixels would work. So then what I want to do here is I want to rotate it. So I want to rotate it to about 90 degrees. And finally, I want to flatten it just to get rid of the extra space. So this will be polygon layer. And I'm calling it a layer because we will need more of this. So I'm going to create a color which is a radial gradient here. And it would be from our brand primary color, which is actually around this one. And from the outside, it would be a darker sort of tone. Okay, darker. Let's make it even darker. Then let's sorry, let's duplicate this layer. Okay, okay, let's duplicate it and make it smaller. Like you could make sure the proportionals are the same. So for example, this is, let's call this 164, and my so 126 from 164. So you do 164 minus 32 maybe. Okay, maybe 164 minus 16. Okay, I'm gonna go with the minus 32. So this minus 32 would be 100. 100. Okay, we're gonna duplicate this another time. And we're gonna do 100 minus 32. And this will be the last layer. So we want to central line everything. Okay, so there is like 3D effect here. So we want to group this here. This will be accent, our accents BG pattern. Okay. Then we want to decrease the size of this and put it inside of here. And instead of just making it part of the auto layout, I'm gonna make it ignore auto layout, just central line it. And I'm gonna place it so that this icon would be at the middle. Finally, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna clip content, meaning the overflow won't be visible. So now let's go over and increase this. Okay, so the final thing here is to actually increase the size of this. So I'm gonna go 64 here, meaning we should increase the size here to fit it. Okay, yeah, I think instead of just having a bland sort of icon and text, if we could do something like this, it would be much more interesting to design and it would convert much more, because you would give the brand a feel of professionalism and that they care about their crafts. And here, for example, this is an AI landing page builder. So if you want to sell a landing page builder, your landing page will be definitely the most important part. So I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to change the text. Okay, change the text all throughout. And chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the XNX icon pack, which is where I get most of my icons from. And I'm going to go to messages. So around somewhere here would be a good fit. I would consider this one. Yeah, so let's try to take that and make it in the style here. So for this to work, obviously outline stroke first. For this to work, we have to first let's make it 60, like 60. Okay. Then I'm gonna remove the inner circles and the actual stroke. Okay, so there isn't really a stroke here. So what I'll do here is just give it, okay, So it's outlined. So what we could do is basically just go over and create our own chat icon here. Nothing really complicated. Just create a shape and introduce some corner radius. Okay, that works great. Okay, then we can remove the stroke and give it this fill, just 1% visibility. Then I'm going to duplicate this, and this time I'm going to give it 100%. Take it to the back, and the upper one I would give an effect. Instead of drop shadow, background blur, 64 or 8 maybe. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to align them perfectly. Then I'm going to shift it just a bit, and let's increase this to around 12. Okay, we can now group everything here into an accent or logo group. This would be okay. This will be logo, our logo for this section, that is. Okay, then we can bring it over here. It should be 64. Let's cut it. Control Shift R. And that's what we just do. So like it's not obvious that this is a chat, and it doesn't have to be. What we are aiming for here is abstraction. You don't want to make this obvious. It should be abstract. So the same with this like section. So we're just going to create a simple pointer. Okay, just a simple pointer. Then I'm going to give it a fill of this color. I'm going to create another one, put it on top. This time 1% opacity, background blur 12. Then we group icon or logo accent, logo group we can call it actually. Then altogether it should be 64. And let's cut this. Control Shift R. Let's also change the text here. Okay, let's make this a bit more wider since we don't have as much text. And let's replace this. Okay, one remains. Okay, this might be a bit more challenging, but let's try to work through it. We're gonna go search for globe, maybe. Internet. Okay, so maybe there isn't one icon for it. Yeah, so if there isn't an icon for it, we can just create it ourselves. Just a simple circle. Okay, a simple circle. And one line running across the circle. I'm gonna make this line curve just a bit. I'm gonna duplicate it. Here we're going to duplicate this line and make it curve more. We're going to make these lines thicker and we're going to make them white. We're going to duplicate it, and I think it was Shift H to horizontally rotate it. So we can have such an icon. Like, it's not the perfect globe icon, but what it aims to do is basically just be an abstraction. So we can select all of these, duplicate it, rotate it, everything here. Okay. Okay, we can take everything here and group it, follow that by flattening it. So let's just flatten it so that it becomes one icon here. And what we're going to do for this is basically give it the blue color as we did previously. Then we're gonna take it up a bit, and we're gonna give it an effect and make this 1%. We're gonna give it an effect of background blur 12. Okay, we're gonna actually put it just a bit offset, or we can actually align this. The glowy effect I think works better here. So Control G into icon group. Okay, finally let's reduce its size to be 64. Okay, still works. It's smaller, but Control Shift R here. Okay, so obviously there are some problems with the white color, and we're going to change the white to be this color. Okay, let's decrease the stroke 0.25 here, or 1, could be 1. Okay, then we would want to trim out. Okay, so just to like trim out, I'm going to show you a much nicer way of doing this, which is just to take this, create a circle around the part you want. So this circle would be 64 by 64, and just align it perfectly here. Okay, then we're going to take the two circles. I'm going to put the circle on the back. We're going to take those two circles and we're going to use as mask, and that will round it up. Okay, great. Here we're going to position it like this, and we are done. So obviously we have to change the text here. Okay, let's just change the text. Great. So finally, it's all about laying them out perfectly. And I'm going to give it 24 pixel gap in between hot content. And we're going to take out our ruler, and let's get rid of the center one here. And we're going to try to make everything fit. So here everything should be fill container, and the container should be within this grid line. Okay, now we can group it here. Of around here we did 64, so here we should do 64. and the gap in between these two contents should be 96. Okay, so finally I'm just going to reduce the extra spacing here, and let's get a final look at it. So this was before, and this is after, and I think there is much noticeable improvement. So thanks for watching. I really enjoyed working on it. I hope you really enjoyed too, and you learned some stuff from it. Yeah, you can grab the Figma file from the description, and you can actually check out this page called experimentation, where I experimented with different brand styles here. Today we ended up using this, but there were so many of them. I can show you, like, I liked this one, I didn't choose it. So I can show you each of them if you want in a future video. Yeah, but thanks for watching today. Let's You can actually center align everything here and stuff like that. Really hope you enjoyed. Until next time, goodbye.